Hey guys, I really enjoy Capablanca's games. He's one of my favorite world champions. Today we analyze this game where he had this position on the board and he played an amazing move and his opponent had to resign. The way they got here is really entertaining. Keep watching. So Capablanca was playing as white and Rivera was playing as black in 1935. The game was e4 and then c6, Caro-Can. Here main line is d4, but Capablanca was planning something different. He's playing here knight c3, and then black plays d5, and then knight f3. This is the idea. He wanted to play the two knights attack. Here main line for black is bishop g4, but d takes e4 is the move Rivera played in the game, which is also a theoretical move. Knight takes e4, knight goes to d7, and then d4. Knight g to f6, and then knight goes back to g3. Then e6, and then bishop d3, normal development over this diagonal, bishop e7, and they both castle at this point. Then queen e2, which seems to be a nice move, connecting the rooks, but also with some other nice ideas. The queen is still fine to go to the king side over this diagonal, but also is controlling the half open file, is guarding e5. Maybe at some point, if we can get rid of the knight on f6, the move queen e4 is going to be over there. So queen e2 seems to be fine, and then black plays here c5, challenging white's central pawn. The next move is rook d1, very logical, guarding our central pawn, also putting the rook on the same file as black queen. This is interesting. The game continues queen c7, putting the queen out of that file, bishop g5, and then b6. And this is where everything is going to start. Here Capablanca is going to play the move d5. Okay, so what is this? Is he blundering here? I mean, black can capture with pawn, black can capture with knight. So what is he doing here? Well, first of all, the pawn cannot capture because the bishop is hanging behind. So black shouldn't capture with the pawn there. And the other option is the capture with the knight. And this is going to be a little more complicated. There is a really deep idea behind the move d5 and after the capture with the knight. That's actually what happened in the game, so let's see it. Let's see what happened. So knight takes pawn, bishop takes on e7, and knight takes on e7. And this is one of the ideas. Now the knight is not on f6, now the knight is on e7, so no one is guarding the square h7. So the next move he's going to play is bishop takes h7, and after king takes, then knight g5 check. We need to say here, because this rook on a8 is actually hanging, so there might be some ideas with queen e4, but they're not really going to work this time. The problem is that if we play the check queen e4, black can play king e8, and when we capture the rook, there is this move, knight c6, trapping our queen in the corner of the board. The next move, black will be playing bishop b7, and we are in trouble here. So it's not about the rook, and it's not about the check on e4, it's about h7 and the ideas with the knight and the queen coordinated, creating checkmate threats over there. So knight g5 check, and in the game the king goes to g8, but I would like to mention this line king g6, then there will be checkmate in two moves. White is playing here queen h5 and knight h7, that's checkmate. So knight g5, in the game king goes to g8, and then another special move. Here Kappa is playing rook takes d7. The idea with this move is that the knight is going to be a great defender on f6, and it's going to be protecting h7, and all the problems will be gone for black. They are fine, they have material up, and they will be able to defend the position. So if we want to continue with the attack, we need to get rid of that knight. So rook takes d7, and queen takes d7, and now queen h5. It's really hard for black to defend h7 here. This is a big problem, and that was the whole idea Capablanca had when he played d5 like some moves ago. So queen h5, and there is a checkmate threat over here. The only thing black can do to stop the mate is moving the rook, like rook d8. But well, then we can continue with the initiative. Here the check over h7 is not really going to work too much because the king comes to f8, and when we give the other check, they can block with the knight. So the right move here is queen takes pawn on f7. The king comes to h8, and well, this position is a little unclear. Notice white has like a rook down right now, but black has some problems with development over here, and also the king seems to be very unsafe, very discovered over there. White piece is very active on the king side. So the game continues h4. I think he wants to avoid any kind of threat or checkmate threat over there. Also is protecting the knight, which was unprotected. And now he will continue the next moves, improving and creating threats after that. And Rivera plays here knight f5, which is actually a mistake. In this position, Capablanca could already get a huge advantage and win the game by playing the move queen g6, which he didn't play. The idea with this move is that he's threatening checkmate. The only way to stop it is by playing king here, but then the game could continue knight takes knight and queen check, extracting the king, forcing it to go out, and then after some moves the king will be on d6, so we can play rook d1, getting the queen, and this is going to be decisive advantage for white. Also they have a pawn over here advancing a lot, the king very open, so white is going to be winning in that position. However, instead of playing queen g6 winning the game, the Cuban champion is going to make a mistake here. He played the move knight h5 and he gave Rivera the opportunity to defend the position and actually get a good endgame by playing queen takes queen, which Rivera didn't play. And the idea was that after knight takes, king g8, knight takes rook, then black could play this move, bishop d7. Notice that all the squares the knight could escape over are controlled. The only one is b7, but it's not really such a great square for the knight. It's going to be a little trapped over there. So this endgame is going to be very well for black. That was a really good opportunity for this master as black. So instead of that, after knight h5, black is going to play queen takes queen was the right idea, but instead of that he's going to play queen e8, which is a mistake. And this is the position we had at the beginning of the video. Here Kappa is going to play a really special move, a really nice idea, and it is this move knight f6. So after this move black is going to resign, but let's try to understand what is going on here, because actually the lines are really nice. For example, after knight f6 white is attacking the queen, and if black trades queens then knight takes, and this is checkmate with two knights. That's a nice checkmate. So queen takes queen is not working, but what about the capture of the knight? I mean, the knight is hanging there, but then that will be checkmate. White can play here queen h7. That's mate. So queen takes queen is not working, pawn takes knight is not working. But what about a normal move? Okay, we are attacking the queen, they move the queen like queen f8. After queen f8 there is another nice way to finish this, and it is by playing queen g6, threatening checkmate over h7. And for example, if black plays here queen g8 to defend, they are losing the queen, but actually white doesn't have to capture the queen. There is a beautiful finish here, queen h7 and knight f7. And finally, if black moves the queen, for example, to c6, there are some ways to win for white, but this is probably the best. We can play queen g8 check, rook takes g8, and then knight f7. This is like a smothered mate, but this time instead of a pawn blocking the king, what we have is a knight guarding that square. Just highlighting the main moments of this game, we have pawn sacrifice here on d5 to open some lines, bishop sacrifice on h7, starting a very strong attack sequence, exchange sacrifice on d7, getting rid of a very good important defender of the castling, and finally at this point knight sacrifice on f6, just winning the game, destroying black's position. The question for today: how much do you enjoy Capablanca's games? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next.